Hello everybody, welcome to the video. This one is going to be gun safety and rifle cleaning. Now, there are 4 rules to gun safety. I have a 5th. Number 1 rule is keep your finger off the trigger until you're ready to fire. Drill that into your friggin' head. Keep your finger off the trigger until you're ready to fire. Okay? Rule number 2. Firearm is always loaded. Always loaded until you have personally checked it and cleared it and made sure that the magazine is empty, there's nothing in the chamber. I don't care if you just got done cleaning it, you threw it in your safe or wherever you store it, and it was empty when you did it. If you walk away and you come back 5 minutes later, hell, let's just say you put it down, you walk in, use the bathroom, come back out, you pick that gun up, guess what? It's loaded until you have personally cleared it. Number 3, don't point your weapon at anything you don't want to destroy. Number 4, know your target and what's behind it. Now, it's good to know what's behind your target, but sometimes you may not. One thing you should never do is fire your firearm unless you know what your target definitely is. Just don't fire blindly. Know what your target is before firing. If you know what's behind it, great. And number 5, this is my personal one. Situational awareness. Situational awareness will save your butt in a lot of different things. Know where you're at. Listen to your gut. If your gut's saying, hey, this seems like this could be a bad situation, listen to your friggin' gut and get the heck out of there. It'll save you grief. You'll walk into a restaurant. You're not going to be like the Terminator looking around and seeing what the hell's going on. No, you're just going to kind of casually glance, see what's going on in there, who's in there. You're going to know where the exits are. The entrance where you came in, where the rear entrance is. Are you going to sit with your back to the front entrance door? No, you're going to sit with your back to a wall. That way you can, enjoy your meal, enjoy the time with whoever you're with. But yet, at the same time, be able to glance around once in a while and know what the hell's going on. Saves you grief. Okay, there's your rules. Now let's get to the gun cleaning part. Now I went over this in my other video, so you can kind of fast forward this part where I'm talking about the cleaning supplies. If you don't, listen up. All right, number 1, rubber gloves. You're always, you're dealing with chemicals. You want to put rubber gloves on. I hate these ones. They're freaking too small. I thought I ordered ones that were large enough for my hand, but they barely fit. All right, so rubber gloves. Number 2. Cleaning supplies, newspaper, whatever. I happen to like these. These are the cheap W brand, if you know what I mean. The thing I like about these is they may tear, but they don't really leave a lot of different fibers like some of the other paper towels do. Okay, so paper towels. This right here is a waterproof mat. All right, you can pick it up off Amazon. You can get whatever you want. This one does an AR exploded view, which basically gives you all the lists of an AR-15, which, by the way, is what they basically call the standard rifle. This tells you everything. Where your trigger guard is, your magazine, the pistol grip, the buttstock, everything. This can help you break down. This can help you learn your rifle if you're using an AR-15 type. Most modern semi-automatic rifles that shoot 223/556 are a standard AR-15 build. They've got things in common. That's why everybody likes to call them AR-15s, even though that technically is not the name of the rifle. That's the name of the company that made the rifles. Okay, so gun cleaning. Now, these are things that I use. You may find other cleaning products that you like, that you may enjoy using. Use them. For me, they work. I've got no issues. I've been using them for a long time. I happen to like Winchester's gun cleaning. Okay. it does clean, it does lubricate, and it does help protect. And this is good for everything from pistols, revolvers, rifles, shotguns, and full autos. All right, and it comes in a little thing and just spray it down and let it soak. Next thing, now, this will help clear out your stuff. If you've got a stubborn buildup of powder, I use hops. All right, this stuff stinks to high heaven, but I'll tell you what, you get it in there and you soak it, it works fantastic. And you let it soak for a couple minutes, it'll take out your buildup. When you're all said and done, lubricating oil. Yes, I know the Winchester does the same thing, but I like to add a little extra, especially in the moving parts. I happen to like hops. This is the modern day stuff that you can get. 2 of these. You get this, and this little thing is great for getting into little teeny tiny spots to make little teeny tiny dots. I'll show you what the old one used to be like, because I actually bought this back in the 90s. Lasted me a very long time. But you can use this for anything. All right, nice full metal, and it even tells you. I mean, you read the back here. They don't do this anymore. This is just the standard generic one. This plastic one doesn't really tell you anything other than lubricating, right? Traditional high viscosity and penetration. But the older ones, boy, they really got into it. Listen to this: a light, pure, colorless oil that will not gum, harden, or turn rancid. High viscosity gives lasting protection and lubrication. Cleans and protects woodwork. Keeps rust away. Also excellent for sewing machines, typewriters, clocks, hinges, workshops, and garden tools. Light machinery, vacuum cleaners, bicycles, motor pumps, roller skates, pen knives, window latches, and locks. And I have used it on other stuff other than firearms. That's why I like hops. See, but they just don't make this anymore. They don't tell you this stuff. I mean, here's another older one. I got this from, I actually picked this up from somebody that, passed away. And this is what they liked using. This nice little, and I just happen to like the Ducks Powerful Rust Preventive. I've never actually used it, to be honest with you. But this, it says, with a clean cloth, saturate it with oil, and leave a light film. So this kind of does what the end product does. And still got a lot left. This stuff is pretty cool. Okay. Now, there's your cleaning products. Let's go on to cleaning stuff. You can use Q-tips. The only problem with Q-tips is if it catches a little piece of metal. Let me pull it a little more here. Oh, that one. Wait a minute. What the heck? There we go. You see that? That's cotton fibers. You can get that stuck. That's why I prefer. I wish I'd found these years ago. These. See the difference? Plus the fact that these are pointed, you can get it into little nitty thing, and there's no fibers for it to do. Now, what these are, they call them by different names. They call them electronic brushes. The brand I buy calls them household practical cleaning swabs. They're relatively cheap, and you get a lot of them. I put them in my little container box and put it up. All right, so let's put that in there. Okay, we're going to put that back. Oh, we're going to put the Q-tips back. I'm doing this so I don't have a whole shitload of stuff doing it. Now, this is your double-ended toothbrush. Nylon here and here. You could buy this off, well, I don't know how much they are these days. I bought this entire box for like, I don't know, I think it was like $10, $15, I don't know. And I've given these out to people that don't have them. I'm giving them out to my family that, because these things are great for cleaning. Nylon, big, little. I mean, I've had this one for at least a year, and I've done a lot of cleaning with it. So, there you go. These things work great too. Now, there's two thoughts. There's a traditional, I'm not going to bring up the whole thing, but there is metal rods. And what you do is you take these, which are copper pieces, and after you've sprayed your gun cleaner in, like the barrel and stuff, you can go down your barrel, wipe the barrel down. You can wipe other stuff. Technically, what you're supposed to do is a white cloth that goes around. You got a piece of white cloth that goes on this after you've scrubbed it, and you go down and it helps pick up all the other stuff and the carbon, and then you discard the cloth. Well, the only problem is eventually these things get really clogged up with the cloth. Now, what they have, which I happen to love, bore snakes. This is for a 223. As you can see, that's all it is. And then in this part right here, it's kind of hard to tell. There is that bristle part. Okay. Actually, here, let's bring up a 45 bore snake. You'll be able to see. Ooh, you'll be able to see that a little bit better. See? You can see the metal pieces. And again, so whatever the barrel is, if the bullet goes in and it's shooting this way, you want to drag this down the end of the barrel like this. You do not want to reverse it and drag it backwards. Drag it the way the bullet goes. And that is fantastic. And, they have bore snakes for every caliber you can imagine. All right. I've got it for every caliber you can imagine. I got it for calibers of things I don't even own because I bought a group deal. like a where is it? 460 caliber, 458, 416. I don't know what the hell those are. Boom, there's your bore snake. That's for cleaning. Now, the last possible thing. This is basically, it's called a silicone cloth. And what you do is you use this. I use the silicone cloth, which, remember I showed you that in the beginning of this, and it says use it to lube the outside? Well, I use this and wipe down the rifle, my handguns, everything with this afterwards before I put them away. This takes off any fingerprints, any oils that you had on your hands, that you were handling it, and it wipes everything down, helps protect it, leaves a nice little film. Okay, there's all the cleaning stuff. Now, oh, and one thing that would come in handy, flashlight. For looking down, barrels, double checking stuff and seeing what we got. Okay, so we're going to talk about now that there are tons and tons of different rifles out there. I'm going to talk about just 3 different types of rifle, which is going to be your basic standard. I'm going to use a tube-fed rifle, and I'm going to use a magazine-fed rifle. And then I'm going to go to the dreaded weapons of war. The assault, what they call weapons of war, assault rifles. And this is supposedly the most dangerous firearm in America in the hands of civilians. We're going to leave that as last. Okay, so first we're going to start with the lever action. All right. Now, this is a very simple lever action. Okay. That's it. Now remember, finger off the trigger until you're ready to fire, unless you are bringing the trigger back up. Okay, so now this is tube fed. It's a tube fed side gate. So here we go. So on a tube fed, basically you just slide this out. The bullet goes in there. Now, you know what? I'm going to actually show you. I've got training rounds, which are called snap caps. Where's my... I gotta get some glue. All these little stickers and stuff are coming off. Give me 1 second here. So now these are called snap caps, dummy rounds. What they are is plastic tip, plastic primer in the back, real case. But there's no way for this to fire at all. Okay. Remember what I said about checking? So on a lever action, you basically open it up and you look down. It's kind of hard to tell. I don't know if I can. Okay, there. You got the thing right there. It'll be easier once I get the shell in. Okay. So that's the way you do it. And you can just do it a couple times. If there's anything in the tube, it will feed it. All right, let's load this up. I'm going to show you this. This is a 357. I'll actually do 2 of these bad boys. So basically, you know, if you're loading it up, boom, you go to the range. And on a side gate, it's kind of hard. You can see in a side gate, you can actually see the brass shell inside it when it's there. Now, I have to hold it like this. Okay. And it's kind of hard to tell, but there is one. Now, watch. Let's see if I can do this here. So, when you do it, shoot, it went downstairs. And then inside, you could see it right there. Bloody hell. I have a little gap there on this, on my cleaning desk, and the stupid thing went through the gap and went down behind. Okay, so on a lever action, how are you cleaning it? Okay, there's 2 ways. Number 1, like I said, you open this up, you take your bore snake. Let's see, this is a 357. So, shoot. Oh, I have to get a new one of these pretty soon. So again, what you do is you take your bore snake, you put it in the barrel here. Now, typically, I have where my camera is being held. I have the rifle up on this, okay, and I have it tilted over the desk, and I put the mat over there so I can clean and spray it. Makes it a little bit easier. So basically, this just goes down, and then you just pull, and it'll go through the end, and then you just pull the whole thing out and clean it. All right, and then inside here, okay, as you can see, there's not really much, but I mean, there are a couple little spots. So that's where you use your cleaning. I'm actually going to pull one of these out. So basically, you're going to want to use some of this. You know, you can get in here to the smaller ones. You know, just get in here, clean it around. Boom. And that's oil and a little bit of powder. I don't go overboard with cleaning. I just make sure it's cleaned out a little bit. You can use your toothbrush. You can get in here. Now, there are those that say, well, you know, take it apart. No, you know what? Unless it's gumming up, you don't bother. All right. And then after you're done and you're ready to oil it up, basically you just take your oil, put a couple drops here, put some drops in here, move it back and forth, put a couple in here. You know, basically anywhere there's moving parts. Go inside, do a couple drops inside, and boom. There's your lever action. Done. Now, let's talk about semis. This is the same thing. Now this. Hold on a second. This is a 22. Semi-action. Same thing. You take it out. You make sure that the magazine has been ejected. You pull it back. You make sure it's empty. You can lock this in the lock back position. I'm not going to bother. But you're going to lock it back and do the same thing as you did with the lever action. Drop your 22, drop it through, clean it out. Same thing. This is a little bit easier to get in here and clean. And that's it pretty much in a nutshell. All right. That's how she works. All right, now, oops, let me put this bore snake back. That stupid thing. Now, here we go. This is the dreaded weapon of war. Magazine. How do you check it? You got your bolt back here. Again, this is kind of difficult because I'm usually putting this up. This, shoot, let's bring this back this way. Point this over my shoulder here. So, this is your bolt carrier. So, when you bring this back, this will eject it and you can double check everything. Okay? Cleaning these are a little bit easier than the bolt actions. All right. Basically have, oh shoot, hold on a second. do. No, where is it? There it is, there it is, there it is. Yeah, I got a specific. Now, we're going to bring these apart. Oh, that one came out already. These come out, and the whole thing breaks apart. Now, this is considered an upper. This is not serialized. This is not the Firearm. This is not what you have to register. It is the lower part that they consider the dangerous thing. That you have to register this. And again, like I said, these pins connect the thing. You can change your upper. You can put a longer barrel on it. You can put a shorter barrel. But if you have a barrel that is 16 inches or longer, you're good. If you go under 16 inches, the rifle then becomes a short-barreled rifle, and you have to register that with the ATF. You go online, you fill out, the manufacturer, the serial, your name, whole 9 yards. You fill out the paperwork, you send it in. They send you a test. Well, actually, it used to be where if you registered, you paid a $200 tax stamp. Like for suppressors, I had to pay an additional $200 for this at the time because I've had this for a while. So it was the cost of the suppressor. It was $200 for the tax stamp, but they don't charge it anymore. So I don't think you don't have to pay the $200, but I'm pretty sure you're still going to get a tax stamp. I haven't registered something since they've done it. So, so you make it into an SBR. Anything that's under 16 inches, you register it with the ATF. It becomes an SBR. You've got the paperwork. It shows, your name, the manufacturer, serial number, whole 9 yards. Some people like to do that. It's got its pros and cons. I mean, if you're in it all depends where you're at, what state you're in. I'm going to get into that very, very briefly. Now, for cleaning these, it's the same thing. You just go in, use your little toothbrush, clean everything off. Now, I don't know if you could tell, but this has still got, I keep these oil. They like to be wet. Okay, so I keep them wet, and then with the upper, there is. See, I'm not. With the upper, I'm used to doing this on the setup. Otherwise, I'd have to take all my optics and stuff. But this basically comes out. This is your bolt carrier. Wait a minute. Okay, there we go. Okay, so this whole thing slides out, and you can go in here with the AR-15. You can make sure you could run your bore snake through it. You clean this, you oil it, and then you put it all back. It locks into place. Okay? And then, when you're all said and done, you just take your firearm, drop it back in. Jeez, like I said, I usually use my thing here. Hold on. Where is it? Boom. Okay, I got the front part in. And that's it. Then you just lock it in place. Wait, hold on. Boom. There we go. Just double check it, and we're set to go. Now, if you're wondering what these are, I highly recommend these for rifles. Primary arms. These are the Cyclops green dot. Oh, I love them so much. They're very good. This right here is a Holosun 3X magnifier. I've got other magnifiers. I've tried them. I happen to like the Holosun brand. Okay. What that does is that flips down, so you get your optic, which is basically short range. Good up to about 100 feet, maybe. 100 feet, easy. Personally, as I've got a little older, my eyes, I'll go 75. Anything over that, you pop the magnifier up and it zooms it up and it does a 3x, and this is a 3x magnifier. Boom. You can get these in bigger ones, but I happen to like 3x. I figure anything that's past 150 feet up to anything past 200 feet, I'm not going to be shooting at it anyways. These right here are the manual pop-up sights, basically what you'd call iron sights. Just in case this thing fails, I can still go click. I got front and back, and I can do an iron sight on them. Okay. So why is this considered so dangerous? Why is this considered a weapon of war? Well, I'm going to finish this video off real quick here. Every single firearm, almost, I'm not going to say every single one, almost a good majority of firearms in service today, that have been in service, this is what these people do. These anti-2A groups and people, politicians, they twist words around. They say, this is a weapon of war. This is an assault rifle. No, this is a semi-automatic rifle. Okay? The term assault rifle, if you actually look at the history of these things, assault rifle, the true assault rifles used to be called battle rifles. Then it evolved into the term assault rifle. Now, the difference between an assault rifle and a semi-automatic rifle like this all has to do with your selector. We're going to flip this over here. Now, this right here is your selector switch. Safe, fire. When it's on fire and it's loaded, every pull of this trigger, when you want to fire a round, you have to pull the trigger each and every single time. Boom, 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 boom. What they're calling assault rifles are the ones that the military use. And what they have is safe, semi, and then there's another one where you can go click, and it goes over to another position. And what this position means, it depends on what they're using, but you can pull the trigger back one time and it empties the entire magazine. That's called full auto. So basically you pull the trigger and it just continuously fires. You don't have to continue to pull the trigger. You just pull it once and it just sits there and it keeps firing until the magazine is empty. That's a full auto. Then they have 3-round bursts, which you pull the trigger back and it continuously fires. Boom, boom, boom. Hesitates for a second, which allows you to readjust. Boom, 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 and it just keeps firing 3-round bursts until it's done. That's what a true assault rifle is. That is what a weapon of war is that our forces use. Not these. But these scumbag politicians twist the words around to make it seem like these are the dangerous things, okay? Because it's got a grip here. See, look, it's got this grip here because they could sit there and they can hold it one-handed like this, and it's got a forward grip, and you can hold it one-handed like this. See how they and look, it's got these railings. They could put rocket launchers on these railings. I'm not kidding you. I saw a freaking politician actually say that. They make this out to be the most dangerous weapon on earth. It's not, because I'm going to show you something right here. You can get this as a 223. Just like this rifle here. Just like this one. Okay. This could be the same exact rifle. You can have a little thing up here with a scope. And so pistol grip, right? Oh, they can hold it one-handed. Hey, look at this. See, there's nothing. Oh, damn it. All right, there's nothing. Oh my goodness, look at this. I'm holding it one-handed. Wait, but what about the forward grip? Oh, look at this. Ha! Oh, look at that. Look at that. One-handed. Yeah, see? But it's more easily maneuverable. Well, you know what? Guess what? This is the same type of maneuverability. By the way, notice where my finger is? It's not on the trigger. Don't put your finger on the trigger until you're ready to fire. It's the same maneuverability. You can get this exact same weapon just like that one with a wood stock and maybe one little thing up here that you can put, like an optic, and it'll do the same exact thing. As a matter of fact, other claims they lie. They say, well, it's not a good rifle for hunting. Hunters don't use it. Oh, that's bullshit. They do use this. This is actually a pretty decent mid-sized rifle for hunting. Will it take down like an elk? No, that you need a bigger gun. Will it take down a bear? Probably not, but you need a bigger gun. But could it be done? Oh, absolutely. Enough rounds, enough headshots. Yeah. But for the bigger game, you want bigger guns. But this thing will take down pigs. There are videos on YouTube, unless I don't know, YouTube's kind of funky lately. They may have taken them down, but you can actually go on and watch wild pig hunting, and they're using AR type variant rifles, AR variants, which means they are modern sporting rifles. They're semi-automatic. They fire a 223 or a 5.56 round. This typically right here is a multi-can, which allows you to fire 223 and 5.56. There are specific ones out there that'll only fire 5.56. I don't like those. I prefer to have my option to do 223 or 5.56. Okay. But what's the real reason? Why are they so scared of this firearm? I'll tell you why. Training. Training is the most powerful thing in the world. You take a handgun, okay? You're gonna have to train with it. You're gonna have to put at least 500 to 1,000 rounds through it, maybe more before you get proficient with a handgun. With that rifle, you could pick it up, and after a couple shots, you're going to be proficient with it. Everybody that I've taken to the range that has never really fired, that doesn't really fire firearms, the difference between them firing a pistol and firing that rifle is night and day. They're so much more accurate with that rifle. And see, that's what scares these politicians. Because these politicians are hell-bent on their end goal is banning all firearms, getting rid of 2A. And since they really can't get rid of 2A, what they're doing is they're passing all these little gun laws. Little steps, one at a time, making it harder, banning standard magazines. By the way, a standard magazine for that type of rifle is a 30-round magazine. But you have states that are banning them, saying you can only have 10-round magazines. And then on pistols, a lot of the modern-day striker-fired pistols are 15-round magazines. And they ban those because they claim that they're more dangerous. They're not more dangerous. There's no difference between a 10-round, 15, or a 30-round magazine. Well, you're going to have to, people have to reload, and at that time, people can jump them. Yeah, okay. Somebody's truly hell-bent. They're not just going with one firearm, man. If they're sitting there, it takes about less than a second to reload a rifle. It takes less than a second to reload a pistol. It's a simple matter of click. As that magazine pops back, you're reaching for the next one. You're ejecting it. Boom, click, and you're done. Not even, and if somebody's rushing in thinking they're going to get there, unless they're standing like right in front of the guy and they're about to be shot and the guy goes click and they're within like a foot to 2 feet, yeah, then they could do it. But other than that, they're going to be rushing towards the guy, towards the person, and they're going to get their asses shot. No, the real dangerous, like I said, almost anybody could pick up one of these modern, these. We're going to call them the AR-15 variants, whatever brand name it is. They could pick them up and they could shoot them very, very well. That's why they're scared. They don't want people to be able to do that. They want to be able to ban all this stuff. And it's getting worse and it's getting sillier and it's getting even more stupid. I mean, you've got them, they're banning, there are states that have banned all those type of rifles. Okay. There are states that banned them and then said, well, you know what? We're going to let you keep them before the ban. You just have to register them. And then this was like a year or two before. And now they're trying to pass laws that say, well, you know what? We changed our mind. You can't have them after all, even though we said you could. So we're going to pass this law and we're going to make you a felon unless you turn your rifle over to the police, ship it out of state, or sell it to, you got to get rid of it, period. Now they're going after handguns. Specifically, a lot of the bans have to do with the Glocks because of the switch that you could put I'm not going to say how it's done, but basically you could take a semi-automatic pistol and make it into a full auto pistol. And it's relatively easy with Glocks. That's why Glock has capitulated and said, okay, you know what? We're going to make a whole brand new Glock, which they did. And they said, there you go. No more worries. And somebody got their hands on it and already turned it into a full auto. That's because pretty much every modern striker-fired pistol, don't care what brand it is, if you know what you're doing, you could turn it into a full auto. So some states realizing this are not only going after banning Glocks, but they're trying to say any firearm that can be modified into a full auto, they want to ban, which is going to basically mean all the major brands. Because anybody with a little bit of know-how can basically do that. And honestly, though, at the end of the day, unless it is a specific weapon that's been designed for full auto, I'm going to call it right now, you're stupid if you convert a rifle or a gun into a full auto. Okay? Number one, the gun is not rated for that shit. You might get away with it for a couple times, pulling that trigger and spraying the bullets out. There's going to come a time, though, that weapon is going to have a catastrophic failure. It's going to blow up in your face, and it's going to take your hand out with it, probably send shrapnel into your face, your friends, whoever's next to you, because they are not friggin' designed for it. A semi-automatic is designed for pull the trigger, pull the trigger, pull the trigger. A full automatic has got a different stress level tolerance on the barrel. You're going to have a catastrophic failure. I don't care. All right. But that's not even the primary thing. Well, that is sort of. It's one of the primary things. The secondary thing is if you do that, well, I hope you like spending time in a federal prison because that is highly illegal to do that. It's against the law to convert semi-automatics into full autos. All right. So you could do it, just don't tell anybody. But again, like I said, if you use it, you're basically playing Russian roulette with your own life when you do something like that. When you do something as silly as that, okay, you're gonna pull that trigger one day. It's gonna start hitting out, and that sucker's gonna explode. I mean, even on semi-automatics, I've had issues where, sitting there and pulling that trigger and all of a sudden, boom, and it's like, what's going on? Friggin' got stuck. It didn't eject. I've actually had bullets 22 rifle. 22s are very dirty. Back in the 90s, there was a company, I think they were in California. They were actually making this cool 22 rifle with a I forgot how many. I think it was 100 rounds of 22, or maybe it was 200. I don't know. It was a big old drum. Um, Sounds like a lot of fun, and I'll tell you what it was: the first 50 shots, and then after that, what you don't realize is 22 is relatively dirty ammo. It gums up shit really fast. I'm sitting here, boom, 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 and all of a sudden, boom! I had the round explode through the side. I didn't get hurt, luckily, but I was like, what the? And that's when I realized, yeah, this sounds good on paper. It looks cool. It's fun to fire the first 25, 30 rounds. Then after that, you're taking a chance and it's going to blow out the side, which is what it did. So I cleaned the whole thing up, took it to the gun store and said, yeah, this is not for me. This is 22's too dirty for this type. Traded it in and got something a little bit better. So that just goes to show you. And if you watch videos, you can see there are people that are just sitting there firing normal guns, semi-automatics, and they have failures. It happens. You know, it's not indestructible. Things do happen. So if you take a semi and you convert it to a full auto, you're taking chances. Down the road, something serious is going to freaking happen to you, and it's not going to be fun. I mean, I worked with a guy that had his finger blown off. Literally, he was missing this part of the finger. Gun related. Blew the tip of his finger off. So, things happen. So don't do that. Seriously, really, don't do that at all. Be smart. You really want to fire full auto, there's places that you can fire full autos. There are stores that have them. You can try them out. I have fired quite a bit over the years. Honestly, I mean they're fun, but thinking about it goes really really fast, really fast. You'll go through ammunition like you could easily fire off 500 rounds with a full auto within 20 minutes. And then sit there and go, wow, I just blew 500 rounds in 20 minutes, and go, I just spent that much. Ooh, yeah, I'm cheap. Yeah, I'd rather take that 500 rounds and spend a good hour or two having fun shooting that 500 rounds, not blow them off in 10, 20 minutes. Anyway, so that's going to do it. I hope you enjoyed the video. You know the deal. Hit that like button, subscribe. I'll be getting back into videos pretty soon. Video game ones. I just want to do this just, for those that don't know anything about firearms. Don't believe everything that you hear. A lot of it, like I said, these people, these anti-2A groups, they twist things around. They twist the truth. They outright lie. And it's all designed to the end goal of disarming everybody. And pretty much all these gun control laws that they're passing these days do absolutely nothing to stop the criminals. What they do is impede the citizens' rights to be able to effectively defend themselves. I mean, somebody's breaking into your house. What would you rather have? A pistol with 15 rounds, or an AR-15 variant rifle with 30 rounds, especially if there's more than one person. And I don't care. This is not the movies. This is not the movies. When the shit hits the fan, your adrenaline's going to be dumping. You're going to be dumping. You're going to be shaking. Unless you've been through the grinder, you're going to be shaking. You're going to miss a couple shots. And even if you do hit the people, Just because you shoot them doesn't mean they're going to go, oh my God, I've been shot, and drop and die immediately. That's unless you get a direct like headshot, and the chances of you doing that, hey, pretty hard. For the most part, you're going to be shooting center mass. So, I mean, there's a very graphic video. I think it was in Brazil where a guy went in to try to rob a bank. He shot the security guard. The security guard managed to shoot him, got him in the neck, hit an artery. You could see the blood spurting out. The guy grabbed his neck, and he's staggering around, still firing his gun at the security guard. It took him almost a full 2-3 minutes, and then he tried to exit. I mean, he was staggering around for 2-3 minutes, and then he finally collapsed. 2 to 3 minutes. That's a lifetime when the shit's hitting the fan. Okay. So, yeah. So, like I said, if you're new to this and you've never heard this stuff before, just open your eyes and see what the actual truth is. Firearms are nothing more than tools. That's all they are. They are used. There are no. They estimate roughly that between 500,000 to 1.5 million uses of firearms for self-defense uses a year. That's what they estimate. The problem is, on a lot of these things, they don't get reported. You know, somebody may just pull out a firearm and just, say somebody's coming up to them with evil intent. They pull out a firearm, the person turns around and runs like hell, and they go, okay, good. They don't fire. Person's retreating, and then they just get the hell out of there. They're not going to call the cops. So that's going to cause more issues than it is. So how many people die a year? Well, roughly the rough averages are about 30,000 people die a year from firearms. That includes mass shootings. The thing is, out of that 30,000, I'd have to pull the statistics up, but the rough estimates are more than half of those are self-inflicted. Another good portion of it is gang-related, criminal-related. They're used in the commission of a crime. So when you take out and you factor all those out, you typically only have around 10,000 actual deaths a year from firearms. Whether it's whether it's an accidental shooting, that type of stuff. Now, if you look at deaths by other factors, that is death by just cars alone, dwarf that out. I'm not going to go into all the statistics. They're out there. But the bottom line is, firearms are a tool. They can be used to protect your family, your friends, yourself, your property. Okay? They're not dangerous in and by themselves. It is the person behind the tool. You can have a person with a hammer go on a smashing rampage. You can have somebody take a vehicle and drive through a parade. Yeah, these are things that have happened. There were 2 nutcases over in Japan. Japan is highly regulated. You can very highly. They use knives. They killed I forgot what the actuals. They killed 15 people. 2 of them working in together. 2 nutcases. They used knives. They stabbed and killed 15 people. Injured another 10 or 15. There was a lot. Knives, just freaking knives. The bottom line is, if somebody is intent on hurting a lot of people at once, they will find a way. If every single firearm disappeared overnight, I guarantee there would be somebody that would find something. They would do other things. They would find other ways to hurt people en masse. Because evil knows no bounds and crazy people are truly crazy. So think about that. All right. That's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. You have a good night.